Making sure that dropping things over here. So thank you so much, guys, for joining me. Let me know where you're joining me from. So if you're joining me on live, if you're going to join me as a replay, let me know where you're joining me from. I just dropped my thing here for, there we go. Let me know where you're joining me from. So today we're coming up on live here. We're going to be talking about how to identify your ideal client. So it's going to be such an amazing live. It's going to be such amazing information I'm going to be sharing with you. So you really want to stick around and get all this valuable information I'm going to be sharing about today. Okay, so let me know where you're joining me from. And let me know if you can see me and if you can hear me properly. Let me know. All righty. Let me know if you can hear me properly. Hi there on Instagram. So today I'm going to be talking about how you can identify your ideal client. And it's quite important for you, if you have a product or service, for you to really know who is your ideal client. So that's why we're going to be talking about how you can easily identify your ideal client. So the most important thing for you to know who is your ideal client and where to find it is because as a business, whether it's service-based business or whether it's a product business, you need to know who is your dream client, okay? You really need to know who is your dream client who you're going to be serving and who's going to be getting your products. And really getting to really understand them. It looks like I'm freezing a little bit on Facebook. You really need to really understand. Let me know if the screen is frozen on Facebook. On my end, it looks like it's not moving. Okay. Let's see if we can change. Okay, looks like it's not frozen, so okay. So you really need to be clear on the person you're going to be serving with your business. The purpose of your business is for you to help someone with a problem. It's for you to help them find a solution for their problem. So for an example, for me, if you don't know me, my name is Rodo Dube. I'm an online business developer strategist. I help new into business men and women start their online business and show them how they can make profit with their online business using social medias and helping them with funnels and sort. So that's me. If you are new to following me, so welcome. Let me know what you do, what's your name, and what kind of a business you have. And just put it in the comment, okay? So as I was saying, with your business, the main purpose of your business is for you to solve a problem, is for you to Hi, Javlan. Thank you for joining. So the main purpose of you having a business, whether it's a service-based or product business, is for you to solve a problem and find a solution for your customers. So you really need to know who it is that you serve. So for me, as I've mentioned when I was saying who I am, my ideal client is those who are new into business, whether it's men or women, and they want to start their online business, and I help them grow their business online to a profitable business. So you really need to know who is your ideal client, your dream person who you're going to be serving in your business, okay? So you really need to know that. You have to answer the following questions when you're trying to figure out who is your ideal client. So you can start off with thinking of the demographics of your ideal client. So it can be things like, are they male or female? So depending on what service or product you are providing, right? It can be one which serves females, or it can be one which just serves men only, right? So you have to identify whether you're going to be serving men or females. Then the next thing you have to identify is what's the age your ideal client is, right? Because some services they provide, like if it's baby products, right? You're going to be targeting certain age group, right? Because it's not going to be everyone who's going to be using those products. So you really need to know to start off, you have to really know what's your product, what's your service, right? Then you think of who is going to be that ideal client, what's their age group. Then you have to think of their location, where they're located. Do they live in the city? Do they live in the country? Do they live in the states or province or where? If your service is bound by a restriction of registration, like I know some realtors, they can't go to a different state or different province if you're in Canada, right? You have to have that license. So you have to think of what's your geographical location of your clients you're going to be servicing as well. Then you have to think of where are they employed right now? or do they have a business, right? So depending on what kind of service you have to ask yourself those kind of questions to find out where exactly they are in terms of their employment. Also, you have to ask if they are more into their income level as well, to say what kind of income level bracket they fall in, depending what kind of product you provide, right? So if you have a high ticket item that you sell, you can't offer that to people who won't be able to afford that. So you really need to know who exactly is your ideal client and their income level, so that you'll be able to provide them the right product and the right service, and know that they'll be able to afford your services. Also, you have to find out whether they are married or single. So you really have to find out that as well and identify that for your own ideal client. And you also need to know whether they have kids. So if you have that baby product I was telling you, well, it only makes sense if you're going to be providing it to people who have kids, unless if they're going to be buying it for gift. But if it's for your business, right, you need to know whether they have kids or don't have kids, depending on what kind of product or service you provide. So that's one thing you also have to identify. And then if that service you provide is all about kids, you also need to know what age group are those kids as well, right? And if it's a unisex kind of product you provide or not, so then you have to ask whether they are girls or boys. And then you also need to know where your clients, whether they like watching TV, right? Even things about what's their favorite shows they like to watch, right? So if you are, like for me with my products, it's mainly people who are interested in business, right? So you can think of what kind of shows they like to watch. Maybe it's financial news they like to watch. So you have to think of that. And also think of the publications, like the books they like to read, even the magazines they like to read as well. Because that, when you narrow down to really knowing exactly what your clients like and what they do, it makes it much easier when it comes to targeting, because you know what the kind of things they like. You get to know what kind of language they speak, and then get to really understand, so that you'll be able to tailor your messaging towards those ideal clients you are looking for your business. So the other thing you can think of is think of how they spend online as well, right? Each day, are they spenders online? Do they shop online? Are they online shoppers, right? So let's say if you have a online shop, right, you need to know that your clients are those clients who like to shop online. So they have that habit already, right? So they're used to shopping online. So you need to know where they are in terms of if they like to spend online. The other thing also you need to know is what kind of social media platform they hang out on. So you really need to know that. So it could be, for myself, my clients tend to hang out on Facebook and Instagram. So that's where I end up putting my own business profile on those platforms, so that I'll be able to target my ideal clients. So you have to know where your ideal clients tend to spend most of their time on social media. Is it depending on what age group, right? Do they like to be on Twitter? Do they like to be on Snapchat? Do they like to be on LinkedIn? So for professionals, most of them are on LinkedIn, right? So it makes more sense when you have a business for yourself to go on LinkedIn and build your platform over there, so that your ideal clients can be there and you can get to see them as well over there. So the other thing you also need to know is to know whether, depending with what kind of your business or service you provide, is to know whether your ideal client is tech savvy. Do they like the technology? Are they good at making, like for me, my clients, some of them, they struggle with making their sales funnels, right? So I help them with that. They find it challenging. So you need to know what your ideal clients are in terms of their tech savvy, and do they like that, or they don't like that. So depending on what product you provide, then you'll be able to provide your supports and your services to that ideal client. Hi, Lloyd. Thank you so much for joining, Lloyd. Hi, Jablan. Thank you so much. And on Instagram, hi, Tease Glamour, who just joined, and is a Kiam, and Shiami. I hope I'm saying it right. So thank you so much, guys, for joining me. I hope this is, you're finding this valuable so far. So let me know if you're finding it valuable so far. So put a yes in the comments there if you're finding it valuable so far. So continuing on, let me know. I'm just gonna have a sip of my coffee here. So you really need to know who your ideal client and really understand who they are. Thank you, Javelan. Thank you. And really know who they are, right? So continuing on, you also need to know what influences their decision making and what influences their decision in buying something, right? For some people, if they were to hear, let's say if it's going back to the baby product, right? If there is a recall of some toy or something, right, that can influence their decision in buying the product from that same kind of manufacturer, right? So you need to know whether those kind of things affect them in terms of their buying power. So if they're gonna be affected by the news in terms of how they're gonna make a decision of buying something, right? So you really need to know what exactly affects their buying decision. It could be their financial situation at that time too, also, which can affect that buying decision. So you really need to know what affects their buying decision. And the other thing you need to know is what are they looking for in a business like you? Okay. So what are they looking for? What is that thing which makes you stand out from other businesses, right? Is it the kind of service you give them, the way you make them feel? Is that why they come to you? So you need to think about that as well, to say, what is it about you that makes them come to your business? And then think of where have other businesses fallen short in terms of solving their problems, right? So when you look at other businesses, what are they not providing that your ideal clients would benefit from? So you have to think of that as well, to say, hey, what exactly can you add in terms of adding value to your customer as well? And the other thing you can think of is what kind of brands or influencers are they already following, right? So like for my ideal clients, some of them, they're already following people like Gary Vee, if you know him. They're following other influencers like Tony Robbins. So you have to think of what kind of influencers they're already following and get to understand them, right? To say, hey, who already are they following and what kind of information are they already consuming in those kind of platforms they're already going to. And then the other thing you have to think of is you have to think of what kind of goals do they have? What's their aspiration that they have for themselves, right? So you really need to understand that and ask your questions to say, what exactly are their goals? What are they hoping to achieve and accomplish in their lives or businesses? So you really need to know that as well. You also need to know who is your target market, who is your perfect customer avatar. It's really important so that you know who you're going to be targeting as well. So another question you can ask them, or you can ask yourself to try to figure out who is your ideal client is, what are the biggest objections? What is their biggest objection at this moment? What stops them from moving around? Some of them, they might have objections like the price is too high. That's an objection for them. And some of them might say they don't have the time at this moment for them to actually go ahead and start the business or get the product or service that you're offering, right? So you really need to identify what are those objections they have right now, what can come into the way of them actually go ahead and getting what they want to get. The other thing you have to think of is, what do they really want? What is the thing they really want in their life? And think of what are their biggest problems and challenges they have at this moment. So you really have to think about that and think of what's the biggest challenge they have, what's the biggest problem right now. Because the main purpose of a business for you is to solve a problem or provide a solution. So you really need to know what's their biggest problem and the biggest challenge at this moment. And also you have to ask yourself a question. What are the most pressing questions? What kind of questions are they asking themselves right now in terms of something around your service or products? And then also think of what are the greatest fears they have right now. What are the fears they have right now? And what's keeping them up at night? What are they always thinking of? And you really, really need to know exactly what's keeping them at night, what's their greatest fears, so that you'll be able to provide your service in a way that solves those fears, that makes them more comforting for them, that, hey, if I am to go this way, if I am to go for this service or products, my fears will be alleviated a little bit. I won't be too afraid for whatever their fears are. So you really need to really understand what exactly stops them from going for their dreams or for going for your services. What's their greatest fear? And then the last question you can think of is, what are their greatest dreams? So you have to ask yourself those questions. What are the greatest dreams they have? So you really need to ask yourself those questions and really get to know who is your ideal client. Thank you, Christine, for joining. Thank you so much. And let me know when you're joining me from on Facebook, on Instagram, and let me know where you're joining me from. I'm so super excited that you guys are joining me. So even if you're watching this as a replay, let me know. Just type in #replay and let me know where you're joining me. And hopefully you'll be able to connect. Even if you have any comments or questions, put them in the comment chat box over there, and I'll be sure I'll be able to answer those. Thank you so much, Nashada, for joining, and thank you so much, Chopra, for joining me, and Salim, welcome. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me. So today I was mentioning that I'm just talking about how you can identify your ideal client for your business. And those who are just joining me and do not know me yet, welcome. My name is Rudo Dube. I'm an online business developer strategist. I help my clients start their online businesses. I'm known to the go-to for new into business entrepreneurs, especially coaches, consultants, and service-based business owners. All right, so that's who I am. So you let me know who you are and where you're joining me from. So we just covered some questions that you can ask yourself on how you can identify your ideal client, and hopefully you'll found that quite valuable, and you can start working on identify who is your ideal client for your own business. And the other thing I was going to mention, you have to come up with 3 benefits of your businesses. And those 3 benefits of your business have to address the problem and the challenges and the fears that your customers have at this moment. So if you are able to come up with 3 benefits of your services and products and what they do to help in terms of helping your ideal client solve a problem or a challenge they are facing, or solve the objections they have, that will make it much easier for you to sell your services or sell your product. All right, I hope you found this quite useful. I'm going to be putting down in the comments here, I do have a worksheet that you can download if you want, so that you can use it in terms of when you're working out your ideal client, and you can use that. Let me just see if I can grab it for you and you can put it there. Do you have any questions? Let me know if you have any questions. Any questions on Instagram? And I'm just putting it in the chat box. That's the free worksheet. Okay, so just put it there in the chat box. Hi there, Saito, George. So that's George from Kenya. Hi there, George. How are you? So I've just shared a free worksheet that you're going to use, that you can be able to use for when you're trying to identify who's your ideal client. Okay. So I hope you found this live quite valuable, and you have got some few tips on how you can identify your ideal clients. You can start working on that. So if you have any questions or any comments, let me know. You can follow me on Facebook, on Instagram, and it's at Limitless Core 1, and I'll be able to help you. And if you want, I have shared that free worksheet for you guys to be able to use that. All right, I'm just going to put it on Instagram. I'll show you. So thank you so much, guys, for joining me, and I hope to see you next time. All right, thank you so much.